What is up, world? It's Nate the Great from TakeFlight214.com, and I am back with another video. Recently, we did a video on the top 10 most underrated hood movies, in where we list some of our favorite hood movies that didn't get the attention that they quite deserve. Today, we visit the opposite end of the spectrum and give a list of the worst movies containing rappers. Movies that were so horrible, so cheap, so laughably bad that they should have never made it past the script phase. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. YouTube has recently changed their algorithms, making it harder for new channels to grow, and that's where you guys come in and help out. If you enjoy content like this, then be sure to support by liking and subscribing to the channel. It costs you nothing, and we really appreciate it. So with that being said, let's jump right in. Coming in at number 10 is a movie I had previously never heard of nor seen. The 1991 film Cool as Ice, starring none other than Vanilla Ice himself. Now, yeah, I know you're probably thinking anything with Vanilla Ice affiliated is sure to suck elephant balls, right? Well, and this movie proves you right. This David Kellogg romantic musical, Ice plays a rapper slash drifter slash biker by the name of Johnny Van Owen. That name really sounds douchey, right? Anyway, Mr. Van Owen falls for a small town honor student while his motorcycle is being repaired. Fights, secrets, and kidnaps ensue. It's pretty clear this movie was produced purely to piggyback off of Vanilla Ice's Billboard success. But whatever the original goal, it failed horribly. Cool as Ice flopped, both critically and commercially. The movie cost $6 million to produce and only brought in a paltry $1.2 million at the box office for a net loss of over $4 million. Jeesh. Safe to say, Ice would never hit another movie again. At number 9, Deep Blue Sea saw LL Cool J fighting sharks on the high seas. LL Cool J may be a rap legend in the eyes of many, and he has some great movies under his belt too, but he also has some bad ones, and this is one of the bad ones. A rather ridiculous sci-fi horror plot follows a team of scientists researching mako sharks in an effort to fight Alzheimer's disease, of all things. Why not just use rats or hamsters or some other small furry innocuous creature? But where's the fun in that, right? As you would expect, things go awry and the team are left to fight for their lives against murderous, bloodthirsty sharks. The movie was so bad it probably runs a close second to the Sharknado films for worst movies starring sharks. Okay, well, I know, maybe it's not that bad, right? Number 8's 2002 Halloween Resurrection. The 8th installment of Michael Myers' Haunt franchise features Busta Rhymes as Freddie Gibbs, the director of an internet reality show called Dangertainment. Great name, right? Who low-key is filming a movie within a movie. Ever wonder who would win a hand-to-hand fist fight between Busta Rhymes and horror icon Michael Myers? Well, in this movie we find out, and let's just say Bus wasn't able to use any of his Def Jam Vendetta moves this time around. In his review of the money grab film, the New York Post's Lou Lemrick wrote, "It's so devoid of joy and energy that it makes Jason X look positively Shakespearean by comparison." Hold on now, that's just mean. Number 7 gives us Leprechaun 6, Back to the Hood, starring Onyx standout Sticky Fingers playing a machine gun wielding drug dealer named Cedric. Mr. Fingers is another one that's had some pretty bad movie presentations. We need look no further than his TV adaptation of the Blade movie. But in this movie, it's one of those that's so bad that it's good in some ways. Writer and director took Leprechaun to the Hood in 2003 for the first time, and apparently it did well enough for them to decide to do a second version. Entertainment Weekly called Leprechaun Back to the Hood one of the worst sequels of all time, writing, "If a movie could spark race riots, then this one would." And I don't know about that. I've seen some pretty bad sequels out there, so that's a tall title to live up to. But at number 6, Soul Plane. Soul Plane may have been bad, but it somehow migrated its way over to the fave list of many hood movie aficionados. Snoop Dogg, Method Man, Lil Jon, and the Yin Yang Twins all appear in an ensemble cast that gathered for this box office flop. Kevin Hart, the flick's lead, explained that Soul Plane floundered part in due to bootlegging, stating, quote, "On the streets it made $40 million, end quote." Hart said in the What the Fuck with Mark Maroon podcast. Not quite sure about that, but as I did sell bootlegs at the time the movie came out, I can attest to it being a top seller. And the fact that to this day it's still a hood movie classic for many may lend a bit of credibility to this statement. At number 5 is 2006's Killa Season. Was this movie bad in many ways? Yes it was. The acting is horrible for the most part. The movie looks like it was funded by the guys from Dipset out of their pockets, and the script was rushed. And there are several moments in the movie where the boom mic could actually be seen in the shot. But with all this, the movie is still one of my personal faves. Directed, produced, written, and starring Cameron, Killa Season tracks the very loosely autobiographical storyline of Killa Cam's own evolution from high school basketball phenom to heroin salesman. The Dipset fam, Joel Santana, Dame Dash, Jim Jones, J.R. Ryder, 40 Cal, plus DJ Funkmaster Flex hops aboard. Although cheap, this is definitely one of the movies that you could actually check out on this list, as it was a pretty good movie. One of those that's so bad that it's actually good. Coming in at number 4 is MP The Last Done. Now, Master P has actually done quite a few bad movies. I mean, in hindsight, I'm About It, though revolutionary in its own right, was not very well done. I Got the Hookup was not the greatest movie either. But MP The Last Done, and yes, that is duh spelled D-A, takes the cake. If we didn't know any better, we might think that this was Master P's own version of Airplane, with its spoof target being mobster movies. Yet this altogether terrible flick takes itself quite seriously, and for that, it's downright hilarious. The plot alone is priceless. Master P plays the son of mafia boss named Don Corleone, who takes over the family business, because mafiosi were totally integrated, right? It's such a Mario Puzo ripoff that P's entire movie family is comprised of all white Italians. I mean, because hey, mobsters and black people got along like peas in a pod, remember? At times, it even sounds like P is speaking in a bootleg Cuban accent. All in all, it's a horrible movie. But if you have a dark sense of humor and enjoy movies that are unintentionally funny, then you're gonna love this. Number 3 gives us Carmen, a hip opera, based on George Bizet's classic opera Carmen. This high-profile turkey of a movie gives both musicals and hip-hop a bad name. We're forced to watch Mos Def go line for line with Mekhi Phifer while the Brat narrates the story in a way Morgan Freeman never would have dreamed of, for good reason. Not to mention, and I'm just gonna say this, Beyonce cannot act. She's a very talented singer, but in each and every movie that she's ever been in, she's been the weakest link, and in this one, it's no different. Coming in at number 2, Who's Your Caddy? Who's Your Caddy was definitely a bad movie. For all those itching to see a black Caddyshack, this movie aimed to please, and they fall short, way short. But wait, you might ask, how could it go wrong? Start with sticking a rapper who shouldn't be acting in the first place in Big Boy of Outkast in some ugly golf clothes and surrounding him with loud black sidekicks, as well as an uptight, square, white antagonist. That's how. When hip-hop star C-Note, who is Big Boy's character, gets denied a membership to a hoity-toity Carolina country club, he comes up with a creative ploy to gain entry to the exclusive golf course. In the wake of this flop, director Don Michael Paul would set his sights a bit lower to direct-to-video fare like Kindergarten Cop 2 and Tremors 5. So, what's at number 1? Drum roll, please. Belly 2, Millionaires Boys Club from 2006. Also, one of the things that I hate is when a studio takes a completely unrelated script and decide it would be a good idea to shoehorn it in as a sequel to a movie that it originally was not meant to be affiliated with. Cloverfield Paradox was one of those. Point is, it sometimes works and it sometimes doesn't. In this case of Belly 2, it didn't work at all. The original Belly from 1998 grew into a cult classic, but that doesn't mean that fans were exactly screaming for a sequel, especially 8 years after Nas and DMX's cinematic splash. The Game leads as Reggie G. Bailey. Of course his nickname would be G, right? A thug determined to clean up and go straight after his release from prison, serving an 8-year bid. Like I said, nothing to do with the original whatsoever. They really should have just called this Millionaires Boys Club and not sullied the Billy name at all. Game's acting is bad and the script is very cliche. If you haven't seen this, then you have missed absolutely nothing. So that's our list. Surprisingly, there's actually quite a lot of bad hood movies, and making this list was harder than I thought it would be. There are some movies that we left off, so hit the comment section and let us know what you think. Let us know how the movies that we listed off stack up, and if you think there should have been some on there that weren't. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. The subscribe button and the notification bell will update you whenever we drop new content such as this. So for TakeFlight214.com, I am Nate the Great signing out. Until next time, peace.